Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor Tejendra Sharma from the Department of Commerce, Kurukshetra University, Kurukshetra. Today, we are going to talk on the module Management by Objectives from the paper Principles and Practices of Management. After studying this module, students, you will be able to know the concept and meaning of management by objectives, understand the process of MBO, and elaborate the benefits, limitations and prerequisites to installing MBO program in an organization. Let us understand the concept of management by objectives. Coined by Peter F. Drucker in 1954, management by objectives, or the acronym MBO, is one of the most widely accepted philosophies of management today. In the words of Peter F. Drucker, MBO is a comprehensive managerial system that integrates many key managerial activities into systematic manner, consciously directed towards effective and efficient achievement of the organizational goals. MBO provides specific objectives for each of the succeeding levels of the organization. For instance, we have an organization and the top level of that organization will have the overall organizational objectives which they will set up for themselves. Then the top level will direct those objectives to the levels down the hierarchy. At the divisional levels, each of the divisions of the organizations will formulate their own objectives. Then the departments comprising of each of the divisions, they will further specify and define their own objectives, and henceforth the individual objectives for different people or group of people working in the departments, they will be specifying the objectives. In other words, MBO is a process by which the objectives cascade down through the organizations as depicted in the figure. Let us understand some of the characteristics of MBO. As the name suggests, MBO focuses on determination of unit and individual goals within the organizational goals. The first characteristic of MBO is its goal orientation. These goals define the responsibilities of different parts of the organization and help to integrate the organization with its parts and with its environment. The second characteristic of MBO is joint goal setting. MBO emphasizes on joint goal setting that are tangible, verifiable, and measurable. The subordinates, in consultation with their superior, set up their own short-term goals. However, it is examined by both the superior and the subordinates that the goals are realistic and attainable. In brief, all the goals are to be decided jointly through the participation of all. The third important characteristic of MBO is the systems approach. MBO understands that there is a relationship with every management technique. Certain degree of overlapping can also be there. Since an organization functions as a system, the very process of implementing MBO also must entail the systems approach. As a matter of fact, MBO provides the stimulus for introduction of new techniques of management and enhances the relevance and utility of the existing ones. By virtue of setting up predefined, measurable, realistic objectives, MBO also helps in the optimization of resources and secures the optimum utilization of the physical and the human resources. MBO sets an evaluative mechanism through which the contribution of each of the individual can be measured. MBO is not a complex technique. It is simple, and the simplicity and dynamism makes it very popular. MBO is a non-specialist technique and can be used by all types of managers. At the same time, it is capable of being adopted by both businesses as well as social welfare organizations. MBO also applies to every manager, whatever be his functions, his level, and to any organization he belongs to. MBO is an operational process because it helps to translate the concepts into practice. MBO is made operational through the periodic review of the performance, which are future oriented and also which involve self-control. Another characteristic of MBO is its multiple accountability. Under MBO, the accountability for results is not centralized at particular points. Rather, every member of the organization is accountable for accomplishing the goals set for that member. The multiple centers of accountability discourage buck passing and credit grabbing as well. Therefore, MBO establishes a system of decentralized planning with a centralized control. MBO also caters to the periodic review of performance. The performance review is done usually at least once a year. It emphasizes the initiatives and there is an active role by the manager who is responsible for achieving the objectives. MBO also provides the guidelines for appropriate systems and the procedures, and also for the resource allocation, delegation of authority, etc. So students, as we have observed, MBO is not something that happens without the organizational wide commitment. MBO is basically a series of activities which need to be done so as to achieve the results. So MBO is like a process, and the various sub activities of those process of MBO are: firstly, setting of the organizational objectives. Every organization has to set the objectives for the departments, for the organization as a whole, and for the individuals and the groups of people who are working in the organization. So first activity which makes an MBO is setting up of the quantifiable objectives. After the objectives have been set, the next thing that needs to be specified in order to implement the MBO is identify the key result areas. Then after that, you have to set the objectives for the superiors as well as the subordinates who are there in the organization. So this completes one aspect of the MBO, that is the planning aspect. After that has been done, the next stage is to realize those plans, and for this purpose you need to match the resources with the objectives. You have to allocate those resources so that these objectives which have been specified in the earlier stages, they can be achieved. After this resources have been allocated, there is a need for continuous appraisal, and appraisal leading to the recycling, which will further help you in defining the objectives in the change scenario. So this completes the chain of activities which need to be followed to achieve the and implement the process of MBO in the organizations. Let us understand each of these steps with little more details. Setting of objectives basically for the whole organization is the first step, and in this first step the organization analyzes the purpose or mission of the organization. This exercise is undertaken at the top level, and the mission of the organization has to be converted into the goals for the given period. It may be for a quarter, a half year, an year, or 5 years, or even more. In many cases, objectives are set to coincide with the completion of the project or with an annual budget. This may or may not be desirable. Some of the goals that may be set for a short period, while some of them may go for a longer period. Generally, as we go downward in the hierarchy, the period for objective setting becomes shorter, At the operational level, the objectives may be for a smaller duration, maybe even for a week or a month. And as we go in the higher in the hierarchy of management, the objectives may be set for longer time durations. While setting the objectives, care must be taken that they are verifiable. That means in case we want to check them, there must be a mechanism to verify them. They must indicate the time frame within which they are to be achieved. It must indicate the associated cost involved, indicate quality and quantity aspects of the expected achievements, and help in promoting personal and professional growth and development of the individuals. The objectives must be duly communicated to all those who are associated with it. Only then the entire organization will be able to work towards achieving them. The organizations must give due importance to short term, medium term, and long term objectives and develop an alignment between these three types of the objectives. The organizations must give importance to the views of individuals who are expected to contribute in the achievement of the organizational objectives while setting of the objectives. So once the objectives for an organization are set, the next important thing is to identify the key result areas. The organizational planning and organizational objectives, they provide the basis for identification of the key result areas. It may be emphasized that key result areas are derived from the expectations of various stakeholders and indicate the priorities for organizational performance. Key result areas also indicate the present state of an organization's health and the top management perspective for the future. The third step in the MBO is to set down the objectives for the subordinates. The organizational objectives are to be achieved through individuals, and in order to be effectively achieved, these organizational objectives need to cascade down to the lower levels in the hierarchy. Therefore, each individual manager must know in advance what he is expected to achieve. Every manager in the managerial hierarchy is both superior as well as a subordinate, except a person who is at the topmost level or at the lowest level. The process of objective setting begins with the superior's proposed recommendations for the subordinate's objectives. In turn, the subordinate states his or her own objectives as perceived by him. Therefore, the final objectives for the subordinate are set by the mutual negotiation between the superior and the subordinate. The next step in the process of MBO is to match the resources with the objectives. When the objectives are set carefully, they also indicate the resource requirement. In fact, resource availability becomes an important aspect of objective setting because it is the proper application of resources which ensures objective achievement. Therefore, there should be matching between the objectives and the resources. By relating the objectives, a superior manager is in a better position to see the need and economy of allocating the resources. The fifth step of MBO is the performance appraisal. Appraisal aspect of MBO tries to measure whether the subordinate is achieving the objectives or not. If not, then what are the problems and how these problems can be overcome? Appraisal is undertaken on an ongoing process and is not taken only to punish a non-performer or to reward it promptly. Rather, it is for monitoring the performance and also to see that the organizations are able to implement the whole system properly. For monitoring the performance, you need to monitor the performance by identifying ineffective programs, by undertaking the activities like zero-based budgeting, applying MBO concepts for measuring individual and the organizational plans. The next step in MBO is recycling. Although appraisal is the last aspect of MBO process, it is used as an input for recycling the objectives and other actions. Objectives are neither set at the top and communicated to the bottom, nor are they set at the bottom and go through upper levels in the hierarchy. Objective setting is a joint process through interaction between the superior and the subordinate. Therefore, what happens at each level may also affect other levels. So students, now let us learn something on the advantages of MBO. The first and the most important advantage of implementing MBO program in an organization is that there's a better management of the organizational objectives. MBO helps in better managing the organizational resources as well as the activities. The resources and activities are put in such a way that they result into better performance, and the 5 basic assumptions about what improves the performance are: firstly, there is a clarity of objectives whenever any MBO program is implemented in an organization. There is a clarity of role, which includes the areas of authority and responsibility, which leads to improved performance and helps the manager to appreciate his own contributions as well as the contributions of others who are directly related to him. The third reason why there is better management of objective is the system of periodic feedback of the performance, which provides opportunities for taking stock of the situation and planning future course of actions. There is participation by the managers in the management process, which leads to achievement of the objectives, and a realization that there is always a scope for improvement of performance in every situation. All these contribute to better management of the organizational objectives. The second major advantage of MBO is the formulation of dearer goals. By dearer goal means the goals which are desired and the goals which can be used to get the expected results. The goals are verifiable, the goals are measurable, and thereby they encourage high level of performance. They highlight the key problem areas, and usually the goals or the objectives which are set for themselves, they are limited in number. It also raises the employee morale because it's a participative decision making, and hence it's a two-way communication process which encourages the subordinates to communicate freely and honestly. The participation leads to better goal clarity and improved communication, which goes long way in improving the morale of the employees. Then there is proper employee satisfaction as well. Being participative in nature, MBA provides the greatest opportunity for personal satisfaction. This is possible because of the two closely related phenomena: the participation in the objective setting and rational performance appraisal. When the individuals are involved in the objective setting, they derive satisfaction because of their feeling a part of the system, and also they feel that they are important in the organization. MBO also facilitates in effective planning. The program sharpens the planning process and compels the managers to think of planning by the results. It also increases the level of motivation of the personnel as they enjoy their work freely and honestly. In several organizations, MBO has been a basis of the organizational change because it provides a framework and the guidelines for planned change, enabling the top management to initiate, plan, direct and control the direction and speed of change. In any organization, change is required because of the change in external factors or in internal factors or the changing factors in both the situations simultaneously. MBO also facilitates effective control. One of the major features of MBO is the continuous monitoring process. This allows everyone to measure their performance against the standards that have been put in the place. It is the clear standards that allow everyone to work towards a very identifiable set of goals, all allowing better control. MBO also facilitates personal leadership, which helps everyone within the organization. It also gives the managers the particular opportunity to display their leadership skills. And keeping the entire group focused always carves a manager out of an individual and puts him into a positive light. It is also a source of executive development. Some of the disadvantages of MBO are that setting of the objectives can be a very time-consuming process, leaving both the managers and employees less time to do the actual work. Moreover, the organizations which have implemented MBO have reported very high increase in the paperwork. And then MBO also gives a pressure towards being a reward punishment oriented approach. This sometimes demoralizes the employees. There can be problems in the objective setting because the objectives need to be verifiable against performance. However, setting up of such objectives is not an easy task. MBO is also inflexible, and sometimes the environmental dynamics interfere with the process of MBO. At times, MBO has been reported to create frustration among the managers because there can be improper implementation of the MBA programs, and also sometimes arousing of the high expectations due to the introduction of MBO in young and junior managers. There can be lack of appreciation, increased comparison amongst employees, and also focus only on the short-term goals. So students, if an organization wants to implement MBO program, let us understand some of the prerequisites for installing MBO program. Before an organization installs MBO program, first of all, it must very clearly define the purpose of installing the MBO. Organization should be very clear, and Howell has suggested a 3-stage evaluation of MBO. Firstly, it is the management appraisal and development. Secondly, improvement of productivity and profitability. And thirdly, the long-term planning. MBO primarily for immediate improvement in the productivity and profitability. At times, firms do not define it precisely and may not achieve the results which they desire. Second prerequisite is the support by the top management. Superior and subordinate interaction is very important for the success of an MBA program, and it is the attitude of the top management that has to be positive. Only then the MBO program will be implemented. The discussion of the objectives must be mutual, evaluation of the progress must be done at times, and assisting and supporting the subordinate by removing the obstacles and hindrances is the best way of achieving the objectives. The third prerequisite is training for MBO, and the firms need to invest into training, which sometimes they think as a cost center, but the success of MBO can only be achieved with the people's enthusiasm, and hence there is a need for proper training. The next prerequisite is participation, in which each and every individual in the organization must participate, and there must be a mechanism for feedback, self-direction and self-control. So students, we have studied the concept of MBO, the advantages, the limitations of MBO, and we are convinced that MBO is very important principle, very important component, very important aspect of management which the organizations must implement within their systems. It needs to be a part of the system. However, in order to effectively achieve the results, there are certain prerequisites of installing the MBA programs. Every organization must fulfill certain criteria before they actually start implementing the MBO in their organizations. The first and the foremost thing that organizations need to do is they need to start with commitment. MBO cannot be successful until and unless there is complete commitment from the entire organization. The commitment has to start from the top management. The top management has to understand that MBO is something that is going to deliver quantifiable, measurable, visible results to the organization. Therefore, that commitment has to come from the top. The commitment or the vision of the top will be implemented by the people in the lower hierarchies. So the commitment must also come from the middle management and the lower management. Everybody in the organization must be aware of what goals they are supposed to fulfill. They must know the objective, and they also must be motivated enough so as to work towards realizing those objectives. So the first prerequisite of installing an effective MBO program in an organization is a complete commitment. After the complete commitment, the next important thing that is required for the installation of MBA program is the total attack on the system. MBO is an intervention into the systems of the organizations, and the results of a systems level intervention in an organization cannot be realized unless and until there is a total attack on all the systems. By total attack, we mean you are actually analyzing each of the systems and you are working upon the implementation of MBO in each of the subsystems that comprise the system. In an organization, there are different interrelated set of activities, and if we are concentrating only on, say, one of the aspects, let us say we want to implement MBO in production and we have not implemented MBO in purchase department or in the sales department, then probably we are not going to realize the benefits of the MBO. Therefore, we have to synchronize various subsystems and we have to develop the quantifiable parameters for each of the components so that the complete organizational transformation takes place as a result of this total attack on the system. Starting from the commitment, we have the next, that is total attack. Then you see, MBO will also require proper systems of feedback for self-direction and self-control. No planning is successful unless and until we have proper control mechanisms as well. So another prerequisite for proper MBO program is the feedback for self-direction and self-control. You know, there will be different people working in this, and the top management will need to install the proper information systems, proper communication systems, and proper measures of performance so that they are able to get the proper output. And another important prerequisite is, you know, there has to be some motivation. So MBO may be tied up with the compensation. Say when the output increases, probably the management could reward the people more who have performed better. So when you implement these prerequisites, then the results emanating from an MBO program would be more. So students, after having learnt various concepts, let us once again revise what we have learnt. We have learnt that MBO is a system for achieving the organizational objectives, enhancement of employee commitment, and participation into the systems. Therefore, MBO is a process, it's a series of activities which should facilitate the translation of basic concepts into the management practices. Despite of its various benefits, there can be certain problems in MBO. But again, it is the commitment of the top management, how they balance the advantages versus some of the challenges which they might face when they are implementing the MBO programs. MBO is generally taken as a panacea for all programs, or it's a magic word, but it's not so. It can deliver only when it is implemented in totality, in a proper perspective, in a proper spirit, and an organizational wide change is made, and certain prerequisites for successful MBO, they are actually put into place before implementing the MBO systems. As such, installation requires some basic change in the organization's culture and environment, which are also inseparable, non-quantifiable parameters of an organization. Therefore, they also need to be changed if you want to reap the benefits from MBO. Many organizations are designed so that they can ingrain MBO as a part of their philosophy, which is the best way to get the maximum benefits from the MBO program.